It all went down on a night that seemed harmless. A star-studded reunion at Drusky's could have been love event in Miami. Cameras were rolling, music blasting, and celebrities mingling. But behind the glitz, chaos was brewing. Suddenly, a single social media post ignited a wildfire that could send one of Atlanta's most famous rappers straight back to prison. Charleston White, the outspoken and fearless social media personality known for targeting rappers, didn't just speak. He pointed directly at Young Thug's most vulnerable spot, his probation. With a calm but menacing tone, White revealed that he plans to contact Thug's probation officer, citing violations that could instantly trigger a 20-year prison sentence. Fans watched in shock as footage surfaced of Thug allegedly threatening White, a threat that could be interpreted as gang-related under the strict terms of his release. One wrong move, one misstep, and the life Thug fought so hard to rebuild could crumble in an instant. The music industry is no stranger to drama, but this is next level. And here's the kicker. This wasn't just an online spat. This was real-life legal danger captured on video, where one viral clip could change everything. How did a night of celebration spiral into a situation where Young Thug's freedom hangs by a thread? Stay tuned. The story is about to get explosive. The tension between Young Thug and Charleston White didn't appear overnight. It's a rivalry built on a cocktail of history, controversy, and social media warfare. Jeffrey Lamar Williams, better known as Young Thug, isn't just any rapper. He's a figure whose name alone sends tremors through the hip-hop world. From his early days in Atlanta's streets to chart-topping albums and collaborations with some of the biggest names in music, Thug's rise was meteoric. But fame comes at a cost. Legal battles, allegations of gang involvement, and highly publicized arrests have shadowed him for years. His latest brush with the law left him walking a razor-thin line. 15 years of probation with a looming 20-year prison sentence backloaded, hanging over his head like a guillotine ready to drop at the first sign of trouble. Enter Charleston White, the social media provocateur whose career thrives on controversy. A man with a past just as dark as it is complicated, White turned brushes with the law and a troubled youth into a career of confrontation and commentary. Known for calling out rappers, filming explosive videos, and building legal cases against those he targets, Charleston has a reputation for knowing exactly which buttons to push. He doesn't just stir drama, he weaponizes it. And on that fateful night in Miami, he found his stage. The stage itself, Drusky's Could Have Been Love reunion event, was a magnet for celebrity drama. A YouTube phenomenon with over 110 million views in its first season, Drusky's series had already earned a reputation for chaotic celebrity encounters. From chart toppers to internet personalities, everyone was there. And both Charleston White and Young Thug were in the room. Whether by coincidence or design, their paths were destined to collide, and when they did, it was explosive. Fans had seen flashes of tension leading up to this moment. In 2025, leaked interrogation audio of Young Thug surfaced, allegedly implicating him in matters of snitching and criminal investigations. Though the validity of these leaks remains unverified, the backlash was immediate. Young Thug responded publicly, denying wrongdoing, but the damage had already stoked the flames. Charleston White, ever vigilant, capitalized on the moment, amplifying the drama for his audience. He scrutinized every word, every gesture, and every association. He built a narrative that could turn a casual confrontation into a probation nightmare. The probation terms themselves are worth understanding. Young Thug's release in October 2024 was conditional, and those conditions were extraordinarily restrictive. Atlanta, his hometown, the city that shaped his career and identity, was off-limits for 10 years except for controlled appearances. He could not flash gang signs, could not have guns nearby, and had strict limitations on whom he could associate with, including co-defendants and individuals tied to gang activity. Fail to comply and the 20-year backloaded sentence would instantly become reality. One public misstep, one slip in judgment, and decades behind bars could replace his freedom. So, when Charleston White stepped onto that Miami event floor and began filming, He wasn't just creating content, but he was orchestrating a potential legal trap. He called out young Thug, referencing the exact probation conditions, accusing him of gang-related threats, and alleging a firearm presence in his immediate vicinity. Every claim was a meticulously placed chess piece, threatening to checkmate Thug's freedom. The stakes were clear. This was no ordinary feud. It was a calculated confrontation designed to leverage legal consequences in real time. The atmosphere at the reunion became electric. Cameras, phones, and live streams captured every moment, every look, every alleged threat. Social media erupted within minutes. Fans speculated, theories ran wild, and the internet began dissecting every second of footage for signs of wrongdoing. Would young Thug fight back publicly, or would the silence signal the first tremors of fear? Could one Instagram video, one viral post, actually trigger a probation review? And most chillingly, would the backloaded 20-year sentence finally loom over him, ready to crush the freedom he had clawed back from 2 years behind bars? By the end of the night, it was clear that nothing would be the same. This confrontation wasn't just a story of personal animosity. It was a live-action legal thriller, unfolding in front of millions of viewers. Every word, every frame, every accusation could tip the balance between liberty and incarceration. And Charleston White? He was just getting started. His history of escalating conflicts and legal provocations meant that the drama was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. The night of March 28, 2026, started like any other high-profile entertainment event, but for young Thug and Charleston White, it became a powder keg waiting to ignite. Dusky's Could Have Been Love reunion in Miami was packed with celebrities, influencers, and cameras capturing every angle. Young Thug, having carefully navigated his post-release life for over a year, I was present, fully aware of the stakes attached to his probation. Charleston White, on the other hand, had arrived with a single mission: to expose, provoke, and document. The collision of these two forces was inevitable. Video footage that surfaced on social media shows the initial confrontation from a distance. Charleston White, holding his phone and live streaming, can be seen shouting at Thug and his entourage. His words were deliberate, cutting, and pointed. He accused Thug of threatening his life, a claim that immediately set off alarms among fans and legal observers alike. In the video, White is visibly agitated but controlled, his rhetoric carefully framing Thug's actions as potential probation violations. "You said we," Charleston says, emphasizing the plural. "That means a gang. You're on probation." The implications of that statement cannot be overstated. In Georgia, young Thug's probation terms explicitly prohibit association with gang members and participation in any gang-related activity. If White's claim holds weight, Thug's freedom could hang by a thread. But the drama didn't stop there. Charleston doubled down, alleging that someone in Thug's entourage was carrying a firearm, an allegation that strikes directly at the heart of his probation restrictions. Video clips from multiple angles appeared to show a figure near Thug's group, which White described in detail as carrying a weapon. Whether or not law enforcement can verify the presence of the firearm, the accusation alone sent shockwaves through the community. Within hours, social media was ablaze. Fans, influencers, and even other celebrities weighed in. Some defended Thug, arguing that Charleston White had a long history of provocation and exaggeration. Others pointed out that with probation conditions this strict, even an unverified accusation could have catastrophic consequences. Memes, live discussions, and hot takes flooded platforms, turning what might have been a private legal matter into a public spectacle. But here's where the first twist emerges. White didn't just stop at social media. In a subsequent video, he explicitly stated that he was contacting young Thug's probation officer. The words hung heavy in the digital air. This was not a threat. This was a legal lever being pulled in real time. Young Thug, once known for his fearless public persona, appeared unusually silent. His usual rapid-fire responses to drama on social media were nowhere to be found, For the first time in years, the rapper seemed to be calculating, weighing his options, and possibly fearing the worst. Behind the scenes, Young Thug's legal team reportedly scrambled. Probation officers are tasked with evaluating any potential violations seriously, especially when firearm allegations and gang-related activity are involved. The combination of Charleston White's video, his public statements, and his online presence as a provocateur created a perfect storm. Legal experts immediately began analyzing the footage frame by frame, debating whether Thug's words and the actions of his entourage could constitute a violation. Every viewer became an amateur detective, parsing every moment for incriminating details. Adding fuel to the fire was Charleston White's meticulous knowledge of Thug's legal restrictions. He referenced specifics that only someone familiar with court documents would know. He emphasized the exact probation conditions, making it clear that his actions weren't impulsive or random. They were strategic. He knew that one phone call to the probation officer could trigger a review, potentially turning Thug's carefully rebuilt public life into a legal nightmare. The tension reached its peak when White mentioned plans to involve federal authorities and file for a restraining order. The message was unmistakable. Young Thug's freedom was on the line, and everyone watching knew it. The first twist, and the one that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community, came later that night when additional footage emerged. In these clips, Young Thug appeared cornered, trying to defuse the situation. But in doing so, he inadvertently provided ammunition to his adversary. Charleston White captured reactions, gestures, and words that, when viewed in context with the prior accusations, painted a picture that could be interpreted as a probation violation. Fans were stunned. Industry insiders expressed disbelief, and the music community braced for fallout. The stakes of this confrontation cannot be overstated. Young Thug's backloaded 20-year sentence is a sword suspended over his head. One misstep, one perceived violation, and the years he spent rebuilding his career could vanish overnight. Meanwhile, Charleston White, the provocateur, had orchestrated the confrontation like a master strategist, using social media, legal knowledge, and real-time video to escalate a simple verbal exchange into a potential legal crisis. By the end of the night, the drama had reached fever pitch. Young Thug's silence only intensified speculation. Was he panicking? Was he strategizing? Or was he genuinely caught in a situation that could undo everything he had fought to achieve? For Charleston White, the mission was accomplished. He had created a viral moment, weaponized the law, and put one of the world's biggest rap stars on the defensive. The first twist had reshaped the narrative. This wasn't a typical celebrity feud anymore. It was a high-stakes drama with legal consequences, public spectacle, and an uncertain ending. Every viewer, every fan, every journalist knew that the next move could change everything. And as the internet buzzed with theories, reactions, and hot takes, the world waited. Would Young Thug respond? And if so, how? Or would the next chapter of this saga unfold in a courtroom rather than on social media? The day after the confrontation, March 29th, 2026, the fallout began in earnest. Social media feeds were flooded with clips from Dusky's Could Have Been Love reunion. Every angle, every shout, every gesture was dissected by fans, bloggers, and legal analysts alike. Yet the most explosive development was still under wraps. Charleston White had more than just a live stream. Multiple sources revealed that he had obtained behind-the-scenes footage, showing not only Young Thug's words but also the movement of people around him. According to insiders, one figure whom White claimed carried a firearm was present within Thug's immediate entourage, a direct violation of probation rules. Each of the images and videos were leaked online in fragments, creating a frenzy as the public attempted to piece together what really happened. For Young Thug, the escalation was immediate and terrifying. Legal experts warned that the combination of his own statements, the alleged presence of a gun, and White's explicit mention of contacting probation officers could trigger a probation review. This was no longer just a social media squabble. It was a legally combustible situation. Thug's backloaded 20-year prison sentence loomed like a dark shadow over Miami and Atlanta. Every movement he made, every word he spoke became critical. His legal team reportedly worked around the clock, reaching out to probation officials, attempting to manage the damage before it spiraled out of control. The shocking reveal came when Charleston White dropped a bombshell video on Instagram Live late that evening. Unlike previous posts, this one was tightly edited and explicitly detailed. White framed the entire interaction at Dusky's event as a premeditated violation of Thug's probation conditions. He pointed out the plural language in Thug's comments. "We step on stage," claiming it implied gang affiliation. He highlighted the alleged gun presence, explaining that anyone with even indirect knowledge of the weapon could be held accountable under probation rules. And he didn't stop there. White mentioned specific witnesses who could corroborate his claims, effectively building a case in real time for both legal scrutiny and public spectacle. Fans, of course, erupted. Some accused young Thug of recklessness, questioning why he would put himself in proximity to someone like Charleston White, who had a documented history of provocations and legal entanglements. Others defended Thug, arguing that White was a known clout chaser and that the allegations were being exaggerated. But regardless of opinion, the revelation made one thing clear. Young Thug was on the precipice of a legal and public relations disaster. Industry insiders weighed in, noting the timing of White's actions. The live stream and video drops coincided with a major promotional push for Thug's upcoming projects. This wasn't just personal, it was potentially career-altering. Any interruption to his probation compliance could derail not only his freedom but also the momentum he had been rebuilding since October 2024. Record labels, managers, and collaborators began quietly consulting legal counsel to understand potential exposure, as even association with a probation violation could create ripple effects across his career. As the escalation unfolded, more shocking evidence surfaced. Screenshots of conversations between Charleston White and other attendees at the event were leaked, showing White planning his posts and videos in advance. He wasn't reacting spontaneously, he was orchestrating a strategy. His knowledge of young Thug's probation conditions suggested careful research, possibly using public court documents, interviews, and previous statements. This level of preparation added credibility to his claims in the eyes of many, raising the stakes exponentially. Public perception became a battlefield. On social media, hashtags like #YoungThugProbation and #CharlestonWhite explodes trended for hours. Memes, reactions, and speculative analyses dominated feeds. Some fans feared for Thug's freedom, while others accused him of arrogance, walking into a situation he should have avoided entirely. The lines between entertainment, legal scrutiny, and social media spectacle blurred. Every post, comment, and share amplified the tension. And then came another twist. Sources revealed that Charleston White had reached out to the Miami Police Department to corroborate his claims. He reportedly provided a detailed account of the altercation, emphasizing both the threat he felt and the potential probation violations. If law enforcement acted on his statements, young Thug's legal team could be forced into immediate damage control, potentially facing investigations on multiple fronts: local police, federal oversight, and probation review. The convergence of these factors made the situation unprecedented. By the evening of March 30th, young Thug was reportedly in seclusion, consulting closely with his lawyers and advisors. The silence was deafening. Fans and media outlets speculated endlessly. Every post from White or other attendees fueled the narrative, painting Thug as cornered, perhaps even panicking. The stakes could not have been higher. One misstep, one misinterpreted action, and the rapper's carefully constructed freedom could evaporate. As the week progressed, Charleston White released additional commentary, analyzing every nuance of the confrontation. He dissected Thug's gestures, tone, and surroundings, highlighting any potential misstep that could constitute a probation violation. Each video and post reinforced the narrative of legal jeopardy, ensuring that the story remained front and center. Public opinion, media coverage, and online discourse created a pressure cooker environment, amplifying the tension around young Thug's next move. The escalation and shocking reveal set the stage for the most dramatic part yet: the public and industry reaction, which would see celebrities, influencers, and legal experts weighing in, creating a perfect storm of controversy and suspense. As soon as Charleston White's videos went viral, the storm hit. Social media exploded with reaction after reaction, taking the story from a local Miami incident to a national spectacle overnight. Fans flooded X, formerly Twitter, with clips of the Dusky event, hashtags like hashtag Young Thug probation violation and hashtag Charleston White trending within hours. Some argued that Young Thug had been reckless, walking into a situation that anyone with knowledge of White's history could foresee. Others defended him, calling White a provocateur who thrived on creating controversy and leveraging it for attention. The digital court of public opinion was in full swing, and there was no jury but millions of spectators. Industry insiders were watching closely. Record label executives, managers, and collaborators began quietly evaluating the potential fallout. For a man like Young Thug, who had been carefully rebuilding his career since his release in October 2024, any probation violation could mean losing not just freedom, but future deals, endorsements, and collaborations. One source close to the rapper noted that legal counsel was working around the clock, not just to protect Thug legally, but to manage optics. A delicate balancing act in a climate where social media narratives could determine a career. Celebrities weighed in as well. Some of Thug's peers expressed concern publicly, sending messages of support but also highlighting the risks he was facing. A few influential figures in hip-hop circles warned that proximity to trouble, even unintentional, could lead to devastating consequences. On the flip side, some entertainers took the opportunity to troll, posting memes, videos, and commentary that painted Thug as cornered or panicked. The combination of celebrity attention and social media frenzy amplified the pressure, creating a real-time spectacle that felt like a live trial unfolding online. The mainstream media jumped in, with outlets like Rolling Stone, Billboard, and TMZ running headline after headline about the confrontation, the probation implications, and the legal strategies being deployed. Legal analysts dissected every clip from Dusky's event, debating whether the plural pronoun "we" could be construed as gang affiliation under Georgia probation rules, or whether the alleged presence of a firearm could constitute a violation. The coverage blurred the lines between news and entertainment, as reporters treated Instagram posts, live streams, and clips as evidence worthy of debate. Meanwhile, Charleston White's reputation as a provocateur fueled the frenzy. Those familiar with his history understood that he had built an entire career around targeting high-profile figures in hip-hop, often blending legal knowledge with social media savvy. His prior altercations with Soulja Boy, DJ You Go Crazy, and others demonstrated a pattern of escalating conflicts, documenting them meticulously and then broadcasting them to his audience. That this incident involved Young Thug, a man with one of the most restrictive probation agreements in hip-hop history, only magnified the stakes. Fans became amateur legal analysts overnight, breaking down clips frame by frame, theorizing about what could constitute a probation violation, and speculating on the potential prison sentence. Comment sections overflowed with predictions, advice, and warnings. Some encouraged Thug to immediately address the allegations. Others insisted he remain silent to avoid inflaming the situation further. So the intensity of the public scrutiny created a sense that the entire world was watching, waiting for a misstep that could tip the balance. Brands and sponsors, always wary of controversy, were closely monitoring the situation. While Thug had been a major influencer and collaborator for various endorsements, the risk of association with potential legal troubles could make brands hesitant to align publicly. Internal discussions reportedly took place at several agencies, evaluating the optics of Thug's continued visibility in the wake of White's accusations. The entertainment ecosystem, from concert promoters to streaming platforms, understood that any official probation violation would create logistical and reputational headaches for all parties involved. By midweek, the conversation had spread internationally. Music forums, much YouTube reaction channels, and podcasts dissected every element of the story. Some focused on the legal ramifications, others on the social dynamics between Thug and White. The combination of legal jeopardy, social media spectacle, and celebrity commentary created a perfect storm that kept the story trending. Even casual observers were drawn in, intrigued by the drama and the high stakes, transforming what could have been a single local altercation into a global conversation. As the dust settled temporarily, one fact remained undeniable. Young Thug's freedom, reputation, and career were under unprecedented scrutiny. Every statement he made, every post he shared, could be interpreted as evidence in the eyes of the public, and potentially by legal authorities. Charleston White, for his part, continued to stoke the flames, maintaining a relentless presence online. For Thug, navigating the next steps required careful legal maneuvering, strategic public relations, and an understanding that the digital world was now a court with millions of jurors watching. The reactions, both from fans and industry insiders, set the stage for the next shocking twist. What would young Thug do next? How would his legal team respond? And could Charleston White's relentless strategy actually trigger a probation violation that would change everything? The tension was at its peak, and the cliffhanger was only just beginning. Just when it seemed like young Thug's team might contain the fallout, a bombshell surfaced. Late Tuesday night, an unverified video began circulating on social media, showing Thug stepping into a private area at Dusky's event, minutes after the alleged altercation, speaking directly to a man who some fans identified as an associate with a firearm. The clip was grainy, but the context was enough to send fans and legal observers into a frenzy. While nothing in the footage explicitly showed Thug handling the weapon, the mere proximity of someone carrying a gun could be interpreted as a probation violation under Georgia law. Simultaneously, Charleston White doubled down. He posted a follow-up video captioned, "You can't hide from the law, Thug. Probation officers watching." In the clip, he provided timestamps, reiterated the alleged threats, and suggested he had corroborating witnesses ready to come forward. The timing of White's post, late at night, ensuring maximum online traction, appeared calculated to generate pressure, not just in the public eye, but directly on Thug's legal standing. It was a move reminiscent of chess, one step ahead, anticipating every countermove. The legal community immediately reacted. High-profile criminal defense attorneys weighed in on social media, dissecting the potential implications. Some argued that the evidence was circumstantial, relying heavily on interpretation. Others warned that even the appearance of a probation violation could trigger a formal review, and, at worst, lead to Thug being taken into custody pending investigation. The backloaded 20-year sentence, once theoretical, suddenly felt alarmingly real to fans and industry insiders alike. Yeah, but the most shocking twist came from an unexpected quarter. One of Thug's former associates leaked a text exchange to a popular hip-hop news outlet. In it, Thug reportedly acknowledged that he was aware of White's intentions and had tried to keep the confrontation under control. A message that could be spun either as prudent caution or as knowledge of potential criminal exposure. The leak added a layer of intrigue and uncertainty. Had Thug's team underestimated White's strategy? Or was this a preemptive setup to justify his actions in case of legal scrutiny? Meanwhile, social media exploded with speculation. Memes, reaction videos, and dramatic breakdowns of every clip flooded X, YouTube, and TikTok. Hashtags like #ThugOnThinIce and #CharlestonGotReceipts went viral, while fan theories ranged from "Thug will turn himself in" to "this is a calculated PR stunt to boost his next release." Influencers weighed in, dissecting body language, tone, and timing. Every post, comment, and clip became potential ammunition in the court of public opinion, amplifying the stakes far beyond the legal arena. Record labels, promoters, and collaborators scrambled to assess the situation. Concerts, music releases, and sponsorship deals were now under the microscope. Even minor missteps could create ripple effects that endangered multi-million-dollar contracts. Some insiders speculated that Thug's team might consider delaying upcoming releases or appearances to weather the storm, while others warned that any delay could be interpreted by fans and industry peers as a sign of guilt or panic. Amid the chaos, one chilling fact remained. Charleston White had demonstrated an uncanny understanding of young thugs' legal vulnerabilities. Every video, caption, and post was crafted with precision, targeting probation conditions directly. This was no random social media feud. It was a calculated legal and psychological gambit. For Thug, the stakes were existential. One misstep, one overlooked detail, one moment of miscalculated exposure could transform freedom into decades behind bars. As the night ended, the cliffhanger was clear. Young Thug had been cornered into a situation where legal, public, and digital forces converged. Would he manage to navigate the storm, satisfy his probation officer, and preserve his freedom? Or would Charleston White's relentless strategy finally tip the scales? No statements had been issued, no official action had been confirmed, and the world waited, breathless, for the next move. Every second counted, every video mattered, and the tension, electric and unrelenting, ensured that nobody would blink first. The saga was far from over, and the next twist could come from anywhere. A legal filing, a viral post, or an unexpected confession. Young Thug's freedom hung by a thread, and one wrong move could ignite a chain reaction with consequences that would reverberate across hip-hop for years. What happens next in this unfolding saga is anyone's guess, and that's exactly why you need to stay glued to every update. Young Thug's freedom is literally hanging by a thread, and Charleston White isn't backing down. One phone call, one Instagram post, one misstep could change everything. Not just for Thug, but for everyone around him. And fans are already debating, analysts are already speculating, and the internet is ready to explode with every new piece of evidence. Will Thug manage to navigate the legal minefield? Will Charleston White's calculated strategy finally trigger probation enforcement? Or is this just the opening act in a drama that's about to get even more explosive? We'll be watching every move, from court filings, probation officer reports, and social media posts, to behind-the-scenes interactions that could change the trajectory of hip-hop history. Every clip, every word, every angle matters. This isn't just a story about a rapper and a provocateur, it's a real-life thriller where freedom, reputation, and legacy are all at stake. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because this saga is far from over. We'll bring you the updates, the leaks, the breakdowns, and the analysis as soon as they drop. The next twist could happen today, tomorrow, or in the courtroom. And you won't want to miss it. The question now is simple but terrifying. Who will blink first? Young Thug, or the system that Charleston White is trying to expose? The next move could come from anywhere, and the consequences could be historic. Stay tuned, because this story is just getting started,